Okay, so I have been looking at the standard opening for a little bit, and I think I have found a really good way for blue and green to really get the upper hand if red and yellow don't really know what they're doing. So if I just go into the analysis mode, there we go. We'll just rotate the board so we're looking from a blue-green perspective. So obviously these are the first three moves. These stay completely the same. Now, usually green would respond with that move there, but I'm going to suggest something completely different. Well, not completely different. I am going to suggest to move the knight out here. Now, you may have seen one person in particular do this move, none other than Valga, who happens to be the absolute best in the world. So I thought about this and I thought, why does he do it? And there is one massive reason why. Now, it's a good... Right, you have to understand that this opening only works if red brings his queen out first. Okay? If red does this, or if red does that, it doesn't work. Okay? I've yet to analyze what would happen if red did that, but what I do know is that if red brings his queen out now, he is in massive trouble. Okay? So usually what you'd do is blue would refrain from taking this pawn just here because yellow has a check on him. Okay? However, that is not the case. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this move, and now yellow is going to think, assuming that they're half decent, oh, I must do this. So yellow puts you in check. Okay? Now this is the key move. This is the move that puts red at a crazy disadvantage. And that's the move there. Just move your king pawn forward one. Now, you may be thinking, why does this put red and yellow at such a bad disadvantage? Well, it's pretty easy, really. If red moves his queen off this diagonal here, you see that long diagonal? So say red did that. Red's goal now is to take this queen, okay? Because he wants to get out of this line of fire from the queen. Well, the queen will just go all the way through there, and that's immediate checkmate. Absolutely no defense against that in yellow's case. So that means that red is forced to stay on this diagonal. Now, if he moves down here on the diagonal to try and get the king, try and get the queen, of course, green will just go and take it as well. If he moves anywhere else, here, or here, green will just take the next move, and then he will have to recapture green's queen, leading to this, which, again, really bad disadvantage. So, we know that red has to take the queen. He has to trade queens, okay? So red's going to take the queen. And so blue can just take there. Now, yellow is in an awful position right now. That he can't really get any pieces active. And there's two moves which he might consider. The first move is this, because if the king takes the queen, then you've got this kind of malarkey going on sometime in the future. The slightly better move is to move the knight out to go and get the king, but there really aren't that many good moves. Now, the other reason why that's a good move is to stop this threat in a while's time. It's not a threat at the moment, but it could become a threat. Now it's green's turn. This is where the knight coming out really comes into play. If green does this, then here's a check. There. Yellow could have opened his pawn up here, and he could have gone for a check there. But that's not going to happen because we moved the knight, so we're just going to take the queen with the knight. Okay, now that's a move that I've seen Valga do quite a few times, and if it's done combined with red moving his queen out, move 2, it's pretty lethal. So now red's in a pretty bad situation still, because if we move the bishop out here and do that, that is checkmate. So we've got to think, what can we do that protects this bishop from the queen going in there, and also protects this square from checkmate? Well, there is only one move as far as I can see, and that's it. He is forced to move the knight out. Now, bad news for red, we've just brought the bishop out here, so we can just take that knight. Now, the reason we can take the knight is pawn here, pawn here. If either of those take, then we have a checkmate threat here. Okay? In fact, if they do take the bishop, it is checkmate. Guaranteed. So we know that our bishop is completely safe here. Now, yellow, he is kind of forced. There are no good moves for yellow at this point. This is the best move because it forces check here. And, well, sorry, it threatens check there, and it threatens checkmate pretty much there if it wasn't for the queen being able to go down there. So, you know, we've just got off that, and now green has a couple of options. Now this is where it starts getting tricky. This point just here is where green can choose what to do. Okay? Now there are 3 good moves, as far as I can tell. One good move is to bring the knight back out to protect against this. Another good move is to get the queen out, the bishop out, for future threats down here. Another good move, which I think is the best, is to get the knight out here. Now you might think, why? Well, you know, red's in this position where we can't really move his king. Can't move his king there. If he moves his king there, it's, well, it's checkmate. Yeah. If you move, so if he moves his king here, it's really, really not good news. It's really not a good position. So what again we have to do is we have to try and prevent this checkmate. Okay, so you know, red has 3 options here: that, that, and that. Okay, so let's just suppose that he's thinking sensibly, brings the knight out to prevent this. Okay, so he can take that. This is where another big killer move comes in. We just retreat the bishop to attack the queen. Now, you might be thinking, well, the queen's just, we're just going to do this because we can. So that's what yellow is probably going to do, which isn't really a great move. It boxes in his queen, and now red has to move again. So red's going to threaten the knight, of course. That is the sensible thing. Oh, we've got to move first. Oops. This is where you block against the check. Here. So obviously red's going to go for the knight. At which point, here is the killer move. Not the last move. The last move wasn't really a killer move. This is the killer move. Okay? Check on red. Now, you might be thinking, why is this such a big killer move? Well, the simple answer is, if yellow doesn't queen sack on this move, then it's checkmate. Okay? That's the simple truth. Yellow has to queen sack. But assuming yellow doesn't queen sack, okay? Assuming yellow goes for some kind of, I don't know, maybe an attack on blue. That would seem logical at this point, if you didn't understand that you are in imminent danger. And then the reason why I like to, well, I said bring this knight out here earlier, was for this move here. Okay. Now, you might be thinking, why would you bring your knight there? Well, if you move your knight there, it's check, and it also protects the bishop. So you can just move your queen up here and move your knight here. That's checkmate. Okay. So what we know is that red can't take the bishop. So in other words, red has to and has no option about doing this. And then from here, it's just a win, really. There's not really any way back. So got a check here. Yellow would do something that really doesn't matter that much. And then queen would take there. Obviously, this is what red would do. Oh no, sorry, red's in check. Red can't do that, so red would probably move out here. At which point, here's a check here, check there. Like it's just really not good for red at this point. You can see he's being absolutely thrashed. So red has to get out of that somehow. Probably move there. And then this is just terrible, an absolutely terrible position. So you can almost guarantee that you've won at this point. So if we go back to the beginning, I'll just explain the whole thing again. That's your first set of opening moves. If it's your first standard 3, you need to get green to move that knight, because if he brings the queen out, then he's kind of dead. That happens. Now because the queen can't do anything because there's this checkmate threat here, he has to take the queen. So red will take the queen, we catch it with the knight. There we go. And now red is forced to move that knight, he has no other option. Take the knight. Yellow moves in for a checkmate threat on blue, well, an almost checkmate threat. Then you move that special knight there, that's the special move. And then, this knight comes out to try and prevent some kind of check. Go back with blue to attack the queen. Pawn move forward, protect the check threat on green side. Red goes to attack green, but then in comes a check. Yellow thinks, oh, there's danger, I need to go and check blue, so he does. Green is there, and more likely than not, you are going to be looking at that. This is what you're most likely to be looking at. That's your most probable mate, or some variation of this. So, I really think that this is an extremely strong opening for blue and green. I'm yet to analyse what happens after the first round if red does that. That's my preferred move. I'm gonna guess it would just be the standard this pawn up. But I'm yet to analyse that, so that will be for another video. But hopefully you found this one very interesting, informative, and helps you a lot. And you've learnt a new skill. You've learnt a new tactic. So if red and yellow are unfortunate enough to play that opening, you know how to absolutely demolish them. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this, or at least found it informative, and I'll catch you next time.